The Boston Celtics are entering one of the most intriguing off-seasons in recent memory, filled with possibilities, challenges, and the potential to reshape the team's core for years to come. Everyone around the NBA knows the Celtics want to make significant moves this summer, primarily aimed at shedding salary to create more flexibility. The current roster, stacked with talent but weighed down by hefty contracts, demands some shrewd maneuvering from the front office. Boston is a franchise that always strives to stay competitive, and their approach this offseason is no different. They want to position themselves as contenders for the long haul while navigating the tricky salary cap landscape. The big question on everyone's mind is, who exactly might be on the trading block? While some names have been floating for a while, recent reports suggest that things could be heating up. Drew Holiday, Chris Porzingis, and Sam Hauser have all been highlighted as potential trade candidates. These players represent substantial salary commitments, and moving one or more of them would help Boston get under the luxury tax threshold, which has been a recurring issue for the team. Of course, making these trades is never simple. Each deal requires intricate negotiations and a delicate balancing act to ensure the Celtics don't weaken their roster too much in pursuit of financial relief. But perhaps the most surprising development is the notion that the Celtics could receive offers for players like Jaylen Brown and Derek White, two players considered foundational pieces of the current team. While it's clear Boston prefers to keep these guys, the reality of the NBA business means that if a team comes knocking with an offer that makes sense both in terms of value and fit, the Celtics will have to consider it. After all, even cornerstone players aren't completely untouchable when the right opportunity presents itself. This subtle shift in conversation marks the first time this offseason that Brown and White have genuinely entered the trade rumor spotlight in such a serious way. Derek White, in particular, has become an indispensable figure for Boston, especially in their recent championship run. His development over the past few seasons has been remarkable. Starting as a role player, he's grown into a reliable two-way talent who can step up and contribute big numbers when the team needs it. His ability to deliver between 16 and 17 points per game, and sometimes even more when stepping in for injured stars like Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, makes him a vital cog. His contract is also very team-friendly, especially given his production, which makes trading him a tough decision. Boston would need to get a significant return, likely involving multiple first-round picks or high-upside young players, to even entertain a deal. A trade involving Derek White would likely signal a more dramatic rebuild rather than just a roster tweak. Jaylen Brown presents a different scenario. While he's undeniably a star, a finals MVP candidate, and one of the top two-way players in the league, his large contract complicates things. At $60 million per year, his salary puts serious pressure on the Celtics cap situation. Plus, there are questions about how the market would respond given recent news of him undergoing knee surgery to repair a partially torn meniscus, an injury he played through in the playoffs. This kind of health uncertainty can make teams cautious about investing heavily, especially on a long-term deal. Brown has never truly been the primary option on a team before, always playing second fiddle to Tatum, but with Tatum sidelined next season, he's poised to take on that role. Whether teams are willing to bet on Brown fully embracing that leading position remains to be seen. Among the many swirling trade rumors, the San Antonio Spurs have emerged as a possible landing spot for Jaylen Brown. This connection becomes more intriguing in light of the Spurs' pursuit of other stars like Kevin Durant. If the Durant move doesn't materialize, they could circle back to Brown as a potential cornerstone. That would mean Boston might have to seriously consider a package. That could include young players and future draft picks. The Celtics front office is known for being patient and strategic, so it wouldn't be surprising if they entertain these conversations carefully, weighing every option before making any decisions. Meanwhile, the more likely moves this offseason seem to revolve around Drew Holiday, Chris Porzingis, and Sam Hauser. These three players carry hefty contracts, and moving them individually or in combination could be the key to Boston getting under the so-called second apron, the luxury tax threshold where financial penalties become severe. However, these trades are expected to be complex, potentially involving multiple teams to make salaries and roster needs line up properly. For instance, Holiday might be traded solo to find a better fit elsewhere. Porzingis could move if a suitable deal comes along, and Hauser's contract might also be part of a trade package if the right offer appears. Chris Porzingis is a particularly interesting case. His value has taken a hit recently, partly due to a mysterious illness that limited his playing time during the postseason, and his injury history has always been a concern. Porzingis is on an expiring contract worth about $30 million, which could attract teams looking for a valuable short-term piece without a long-term commitment. But the Celtics may prefer to keep him long-term if he's willing to take a pay cut, given the upside he has when healthy. The big question is whether his health issues are behind him or if they will continue to limit his impact. Boston's front office will have to weigh the risk versus reward carefully before deciding if they want to retain him or let him go in exchange for cap relief. Among all these potential moves, one player who seems safe for now is Peyton Pritchard. He recently earned the 6th Man of the Year award, highlighting his growing importance for Boston. Pritchard's contract is reasonable, and he fits perfectly into the Celtics core, providing depth and energy off the bench. Keeping him makes sense as the team looks to maintain continuity while addressing salary issues elsewhere. Overall, the Celtics' offseason looks like it will be a balancing act between maintaining a competitive core built around stars like Tatum and Brown while freeing up salary cap space to allow for future flexibility. The decisions made in the next few weeks will have long-lasting impacts on the team's trajectory. Whether it's making tough calls on players like Brown and White or strategically moving contracts like those of Holiday, Porzingis, and Hauser, Boston's front office faces a challenging summer ahead. This process will likely involve a lot of behind-the-scenes work, multi-team negotiations, and careful evaluation of trade offers as the Celtics aim to put themselves in the best possible position to compete for championships not just next season, but for years to come. The NBA landscape is always shifting, and the Celtics have a history of making smart moves when it matters most. The big question is how aggressive they will be this offseason, and which pieces they are ultimately willing to part with in pursuit of their goals. As the Celtics prepare to enter the offseason, the spotlight isn't just on potential trades, but also on how Brad Stevens and the front office will approach free agency and the upcoming NBA draft. With the 2025 draft less than 2 weeks away, the timing of these moves is crucial. The Celtics will have to balance the urgency of clearing salary space with the need to secure valuable assets that can help them win now and in the future. While shedding salary is a priority, they also want to avoid gutting the roster or sacrificing chemistry, especially after coming off a championship season. This creates a tricky balancing act where every decision carries significant weight. One of the major challenges Boston faces is the luxury tax. The Celtics have long been a team willing to pay the tax to keep their championship window open, but the increasing financial penalties make that strategy more expensive. The second apron, the threshold where even stiffer luxury tax penalties kick in, looms large. Getting under that limit without weakening the roster too much is no small task. The current contracts of Jrue Holiday, Chris Porzingis, and Sam Hauser are big hurdles. Moving one or more of these players seems like the most straightforward path to tax relief, but finding deals that make sense both financially and basketball-wise is complicated. The Celtics front office will likely explore multi-team trades to match salaries and needs, a process that requires patience and creativity. Meanwhile, the Celtics core, led by Jason Tatum, remains intact, at least for now. Tatum is coming off an MVP caliber season and is undoubtedly the franchise's centerpiece. The question surrounding Jaylen Brown is more complex. While there's some buzz about potential trade offers, the Celtics seem reluctant to move him unless a truly transformative offer arrives. Brown's knee surgery introduces uncertainty, but his talent is undeniable. He's one of the league's premier two-way players, and stepping into the number one role next season could elevate his game even further. Still, the Celtics have to weigh the long-term financial implications of keeping such a large contract on the books, especially if they want to add more talent around him and Tatum. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. There's been a subtle yet intriguing ripple in the NBA rumor mill recently, sparked by none other than Boston Celtics head coach Joe MAZZULLA. In what some are calling a candid and surprisingly warm statement, MAZZULLA wished former Celtics player Chris Porzingis happiness with the Houston Rockets, opening the door for speculation about the Latvian star's future and the ongoing dynamics between these two teams. Porzingis, once seen as a major piece for the Celtics' rebuilding efforts, has had a journey full of ups and downs since joining Boston. Injuries and inconsistency have plagued his tenure, and his fit within the Celtics system has always been a subject of debate among fans and analysts alike. Yet despite these challenges, MAZZULLA's comments suggest there might be no hard feelings, only goodwill. But could this be more than just a polite nod? Could it hint at an underlying strategy or a potential future move involving Porzingis? And the Rockets? The Houston Rockets, currently in a phase of aggressive rebuilding, have been known to seek talented big men who can change the trajectory of the franchise. Porzingis, with his unique skill set, a combination of size, shooting, and shot blocking, fits the mold perfectly. MAZZULLA's statement might be seen as an acknowledgement of this fit, possibly indicating a willingness to let Porzingis find his place elsewhere if it means the Celtics can focus on other core pieces. Rumors have swirled before about the Celtics exploring trades involving Porzingis, and his latest comment may be fueling that fire once again. Could the Rockets be preparing an offer that Boston simply can't refuse? Or is MAZZULLA subtly signaling that while Porzingis was part of the Celtics' plans, the team is ready to move on for the sake of roster flexibility and chemistry? The timing of this statement also adds fuel to the speculation. The NBA offseason is a period rife with negotiations, trade talks, and whispers behind closed doors. MAZZULLA's public goodwill could be a strategic move to maintain positive relations, with Houston's front office smoothing the way for potential deals. After all, basketball is as much about relationships as it is about talent, and this could be a calculated step in ongoing negotiations. Of course, the real question on everyone's mind is how Porzingis himself feels about this potential change of scenery. He's a player with undeniable talent, but also one who's searching for a place where he can fully realize his potential. Houston's rebuilding project, while risky, might offer the kind of opportunity Porzingis needs. A starring role, plenty of minutes, and a chance to build chemistry with a young core eager to rise. In the end, Joe MAZZULLA's comment might be more than just a wish for happiness. It might be the first sign of a significant shift brewing between the Celtics and Rockets, a move that could reshape both teams' futures. Whether this translates into a trade or simply remains a gesture of goodwill, the basketball world will be watching closely. For now, fans are left to wonder, is this the calm before the storm, or just a polite send-off for a player whose journey is far from over? That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.